Hi everybody, Ellen here. Today I'm come to you guys with a book tag, and this one is actually called the Book Blogger Confessions tag. So it was technically originally made for a book blog, but since I have both BookTube and a book blog, I thought I would do it anyways. So this tag is made up by, I think it was, yes, 10 questions, and it is made by Laura's Book Reviews, which I will link her blog post down below so you guys can check it out. And as you may have understood from the name of it, it's some kind of, confessions that I will be making regarding books. Some positive and some are negative. Question number 1 is, which book most recently did you not finish? And I wouldn't say that I actually DNF books because I haven't really been meaning to do so, with purpose. I have started reading books and then felt like I don't really want to read them at that point, and then put them down in favor of another book, and then it's been like a year or two before I pick them up again, but I always do pick them up again, so I don't really see myself as a DNFing kind of reader. I just see myself as, picking the book up later. Even though I sometimes don't enjoy the books, I always pick them up later anyways, because I can't stand the thought of having started a book and then not finishing it. So yeah, I guess that's my answer. And then question number 2 is, which book is your guilty pleasure? And technically for this one it's an entire series, but I'm too lazy to get them all out of my bookshelf, so I'm just gonna show the first book. So that is The Selection by Kiera Cass, and I kind of love princess kind of reads, this kind of a dystopian princess kind of read. I do like princesses books, as long as that is made well. I mean, there's some really bad ones as well, but if it is done well, then I like them. Which is kind of a weird thing to say, because duh, obviously. But I mean, I like this book so much, and the series is so good, although I don't like the 2 last books that much, but the first 3 are ridiculously good, and I have only read them once, but I do want to reread them, and they're such quick reads, I don't know why I haven't done so already. But you should definitely check these books out if you like princesses, kind of The Bachelor but the princess version. It's good. And question number 3, which book do you love to hate? And I don't really do that, I guess. But since I don't want to be boring, I guess I have no answer. I'm just gonna say Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi, which is a book I actually unhauled. So I don't have it on my shelves, but I'll insert a picture instead. But I thought it was very troopy and very predictable, and I felt like I've read the concept like 15 billion times before, so I didn't really like the series. Worth mentioning though was that I read it in Swedish, so maybe that was why I didn't really like the writing style as much as I would have if I read it in English, because I do love her writing style when I read other books by her in English. But yeah, I guess that book will have to be my answer, because I really didn't like that book, and I'm really sad about it because I do like Tahereh Mafi's other books. So yeah, and also they have really beautiful covers. It's ridiculous how beautiful covers her books always has. So I mean, they look pretty, but not enough to wanting me to, continue the series. Then question number 4 is, which book would you throw into the sea? And I have had this question another time, I think, like pretty much the same question, maybe a different wording, but I'm going to say the same answer because that's the only book I would ruin that way, I guess. But that is Given to the Sea by Mindy McGinnis, which I also unhauled in my latest unhaul video. I hated that book with a passion, and I wish I had not read it, because it kind of taints my opinion of Mindy McGinnis writing overall. I do have, you can barely see it here, but The Female Species by her, I really did like that one, but I feel like that book really ruined my opinion of that book, and I just can't get it out of my head how much I hated that book. Like, if I never see Given to the Sea ever again, it will be too soon. Question number 5 is, which book have you read the most and I think you might be a little bit surprised by this one. Not by much, but maybe a little. But my answer for this one is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. You guys probably thought it was The Prisoner of Azkaban, since I always say that's my favorite Harry Potter book. But since I do have the most editions, like of this one, like I have the 20-year editions, I have the UK and the US and my old versions, and I have the illustrated edition, and I listen to the audiobooks. So I think this one is the one I read the most, since I reread them a couple of times, like before. And I do know that Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is out in illustrated edition now, and I have read it obviously, but I still think this one is my most read book, since I have read them 20 plus times, and this is the first book, so I do know I have read it more than the later ones. But I mean, it's such a good series, and if you have not read these series and you don't know what they're about, then what the hell are you doing with your life? Question number 6 is, which book would you hate to receive as a present? And I don't really understand why we hate getting a book in present, because I don't really do get books in present because people think I have too many books. I don't know what's wrong with my friends and family, but yeah. But for this one, since I don't want to like say the same answer again, I'm gonna say Alice in Zombieland by Ina Showalter, another book I've on hold. But everybody thought that would be like an Alice in Wonderland kind of retelling, since I do love Alice, and I thought so too. But when I read it, there was like, I hated it. I really did, and I don't want to continue the series, which I'm not going to. The White Rabbit Chronicles or something it's called. But if I did get that one in the present, I would probably be pretty mad, because I don't want that book on my shelf. Because why would I? So number 7 is, which book could you not live without? And I'm gonna cheat on this one and mention 2 books, because my tag, well, it's me doing the tag. I can do whatever I want. So the first one probably does not come as a surprise, and that is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling, because it's one of my favorite books in the time of books. So love this book, and also look at this cover. It's gorgeous all the way around. And the second one is probably not a surprise either, although this one I have read it 20 plus times, and this book I've only read once, but I am planning to read it very soon. But I'm gonna say Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, because I love this book and I need to reread it, and I don't know why I haven't gotten the time to do it yet. But I'm going to try to do it in like March, maybe the beginning of April, but I'm definitely going to do it. And I love this. And also, if I wasn't too lazy, I would have gotten a third book, which is Alice Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, but they're all the way up there. Like, I have my TBR shelf right here, outside the frame, and then on top of that I have my Alice collection. But every time I take something away from that shelf, I feel like something will fall onto my head, which is not very good, because there's some heavy shit up there. So I'm not gonna, take it out, but it's an honorable mention because I'm lazy. Question number 8. Which book made you the angriest? And I think for this one, even though I don't want to say the same thing over and over again, I am going to say Given to the Sea by Mindy McGinnis, because that one, had such bad views on women, the Indiri people, or what they were called, people. And it was so horribly bad, and it was not like it was bad at just one point in the book. It was bad like all the way through, and I didn't feel like it was problematized enough, and it wasn't discussed enough, and I can't. That is also why the book is going into the sea, because I can't. And question number 9. Which book made you cry the most? And this one I also have 2 answers for, because issues. But the first one I know I've mentioned a few times at least. Might not be the first one that comes to mind, because in other videos I mentioned another book. But it is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I am currently listening to the audiobook of this one. And it's just so sad. It breaks my heart every time. I read this book 20 plus times and I still cannot get over all the shit that goes down. There's so many characters that die and I'm still not okay with it. And the first time I read this book, I was heartbroken for months. I could not believe that this was the way it would end, and it just makes my eyes tear up every time I talk about it. So this one is definitely one of the books, and it still makes me cry even though I read it so many times. Maybe not like ugly crying like I did the first time, but it still makes me cry even to this day. And it's ridiculous how good J.K. Rowling writes stories and how good she's at breaking hearts. But that one probably does not come as a surprise either, and that is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. I did read this one in January 2017. The first time. I have only read it once, which is also stupid, I know. But this one I loved so much. It's a middle grade book, and I don't really cry through middle grade books. I don't know what the hell happened here. But I cried, and I cried, and then I cried some more. I think I cried non-stop, like hysterically crying for like 20 minutes. And yes, I was very tired that day because it was a Friday evening and I was at home alone with my book. But I was hysterically crying and I could not stop. And I don't even know, I think other people might not have cried at that particular spot, but I feel like if I reread this today, I would probably cry even more because now it really hits home. But I love this book so much, and I do want to reread it very soon because it's such a quick and awesome read. And I still have not watched the movie. I think it came out in like November or something, I want to say, and I still have not watched the movie. What is wrong with me? I'm really bad at watching movies because I can't sit still for so long if I'm watching it alone. If I watch it with someone, then it works, but otherwise I'm just like phone here, book here, you know, I can't do it. But I really do need to watch the movie because this book is amazing. And then we've gotten to the 10th and last question. It's going so fast, I know. But that question is, which book cover do you hate the most? So for this one, I said Snabba Cash by Jens Lapidus. I read this one a couple of years ago. I have on hold a lot of ugly covers over the last 2 years or something, so I don't really have a lot, but this one was one that came to mind. I mean, it's nothing special really, it's kind of boring, you know, but I guess this one is from 2007, so I don't know if they have like newer, prettier editions, but this is kind of boring and it tells you nothing whatsoever about the story. But yeah, those were all of the books I was going to talk about in this book tag. I do hope you liked it. If you have any like ideas or what you would have answered to these questions, please let me know those down below because as always I'm very curious. But yeah, if you like this video, please don't forget to give me some thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the button down below. And yeah, I hope we see each other next time. Bye!